Listen, I'm easy to find. And then they can kiss my ass.
Cut it off! I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This, today, is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time. I'm not in the mood to play with anybody. I mean, damn it! I'm ticked off!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Your eyes don't deceive you. It's the great one. It's the people's champion, the real people's champion. Nathan, your host, Big Nate Sports Talk, Season 9, Episode 10. I do apologize. You haven't seen me in a few days. It's been a very hectic start to the month of July. It was a crazy June month. Things outside of YouTube with work. It was just crazy. I do apologize if you hadn't seen me in that stretch of time. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all are staying safe, having a safe and fun summer. Hope you're doing something that is proactive, whether it's just going for a walk or going to the beach, just doing something for yourself to mentally, physically unwind from this thing called life, work, school, whatever it may be. Before we get into it, there's a few things I would like to say up front. So I know I'm a few days behind with the Washington Mystics recapping the Atlanta Dream. After beating them before the All-Star break. This is the WNBA All-Star weekend. Couple of things has changed. So in the last video, I talked about doing an episode with basketball free agency. I'm going to push back on that. I'm going to continue to work on these shorts for the NBA draft recap because the Summer League has started. Major League Baseball, I'm going to hold that off for the Orioles until the All-Star break. We're playing really great baseball. We're won now 6-7 straight games. So I'm waiting till the All-Star break to get my first half recap and some second half prediction for the Orioles. I'm wait till that. With football, there's really not a lot going on right now at the moment. So the episode, so you may see, I may not be on frequently, but I'm definitely trying to get you as much content as I can. For some other things. So all of season 8 and most of the episode of season 9 was downloaded to be uploaded on Spotify via Anchor. So be patient with me as I get that down uploaded for you guys. I would really do appreciate it if you do check me out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and leave a review for your boy. Really helps me grow the podcast. Really helps me grow the channel. I would really, really appreciate that. Please check it out on Apple Podcasts. Just type in Big Nate Sports Talk. Also, too, if you have Android, Spotify, it would really mean a lot to me. I really would appreciate that. Also, too, college football is upon us soon. You're definitely going to see Maryland football, of course. You got to rep it. Maryland Terps, baby, all day. Be tuned in for that. Basketball, men and women's. It's going to be kind of a lot of great things happening for the podcast. So just be tuned in for that. But that's enough talk. Let's just strictly go into what happened a few days ago. The Washington Mystics played the Atlanta Dream. It was our final game before the All-Star break, and we took care of business. After coming off a some disappointing loss against the Connecticut Sun, we went down to the ATL, and we beat the Atlanta Dream 85-66. We swept them. The first time in a while we've done that. I knew we were going to come out and take our frustrations out on them again. I felt like after the Connecticut loss, I felt like everybody had something to prove after that. I mean, we're now 4-0. This is the third time in 4 seasons we swept them. We swept them 2019. We were in the bubble 2020, now this year. So we've beat them. We've seen them 11 times. We've beat them 6 straight games. Fun fact, we outscored them in the paint, which was 42-36. And actually, it's fun. We're 13-5 when we do that. And then also, too, we held them to under 70 points. We're 7-0 when we hold our opponents to less than 70 points. Elena Deladon had 25 points. That's her season high so far. The last time we've seen that, haven't seen that in quite some time. But this is her another game where she scored 15 or more with 5 more rebounds in 10 games. It's interesting. We're 5-2 when she leads the team in scoring. What else happened? Ariel Atkins actually, in the 22 games so far we've played, has 10 or more points. That was an interesting statistic I saw as well, because when I look at the box score, and when your leading scorer was Elena, then behind her was Maisha Hines-Allen. She gave me a good 14 points. Then Shatori Walker-Campbell gave me 12. Taj Cloud, 13. Ariel Atkins had 10. Shakira Austin only played less than 13 minutes and had just 1 point.
What? What? And you got to be kidding me.
I'm not sure what that was about. I mean, I know she had 3 fouls in the game. But I was a little that was interesting. She just had the 1 point. Elizabeth Williams, and the bench is not producing numbers. I'd like to see. I should have asked him that, and I'm going to ask him when we come back, because it's going to be kind of key. Now that we're going in the second half of the season, we have everybody back healthy, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I'd like to see some more productivity from the bench. Like Tiana Hawkins and Avina Westbrook combined played like less than a minute, 90 seconds. They both, that was weird to me. Rory had 2 points. I just need a little bit more from the bench. But coming into this game, you want to end the first half on a high note. That's something the Washington Mystics did. I mean, coming into this game, we were ranked 9th in points per game. So the ball movement was better, which I'm starting to see the offense look a lot more cleaner. It's interesting. I've noticed that Ariel Atkins, and this is why for me, I voted her as all-star, because now the others are helping her find her shots instead of her creating her own shots. I think some of that is, a lot of it has to do with there's more opportunities that he's giving. I've noticed in the Connecticut game, he had Ariel out there quite a bit too much. I mean, he rushed her. He had her on the bench a little too much, and that kind of took away some of the aggression. But I would say more some of the rhythm. And if you look, when you have her out there, you don't want to have her out there too long. But what I noticed was in the first half, she did really well. But in the second half, it was like, no, I want to save you for the stretch. And that really messed. I think that kind of messed up the rhythm of the game. But I mean, to be honest, it was a blowout from the jump. I mean, there was really no looking back. I mean, the first quarter was 20 apiece. And then after that, all of this, the floodgates opened. The Mystics were just unstoppable. I'm looking at the box score for United Dream. You had 4 scorers that had 10 points apiece. Everybody else was really no one really had a good game. Like Kia Vaughn, like we all know, she brings leadership and veteranship. So I'm not going to really expect much from her. I mean, she gave me 4 points off the bench. Erica Wheeler had 6. Naz Hillman had 2. Cheyenne Parker, who I think is having a good season, had 10. Christy Wallace, she only had 2 points. Asia Durr had 4, and Beatrice Montempere didn't play. I mean, defense. I think defense was the key in this game. I mean, also too, hey, Atlanta came out. It was a little bit of a sloppy first in the first quarter. It was sloppy, but we came back on a 9-0 run. We were up 5 at the half, and then that second half we didn't look back. I mean, I think with the Mystics, everyone was happy, everyone's smiling when the offense, when everybody's clicking. And I think the biggest thing I've taken away from this first half of the season is trust. They've got to really put some trust in one another. And also, too, that you don't have to do so much by yourself. Trust the others. Like watching them against Connecticut, watching them against teams that they should have beaten, like they should have gotten New York one of these games for the half before the All-Star break. They're just, some of them were just doing too much. And sometimes you got to just take a step back and go, okay, I got to put my trust in this person. Okay, I trust them with that shot. But also, too, I'm looking at Atlanta. They didn't do too bad. I mean, they shot under 42% from the field, but downtown, they actually were 0 of 12 from the field.
What the hell was that? Hey, what the hell? You freaking kidding me?
But other than that, I mean, it was a great game. What a way to end the first half. We've played the most games. We played 24 games in the first half of the season, and we got 12 left because this is it. I believe we got 12 more games, and we're done. When I asked Coach, I asked in the game against Atlanta before we went to Connecticut, I asked Shatori Walker, Kimbrough, Ariel Atkins, Amisha Hines Allen, you got a little bit of a break before Connecticut, and Shatori was like, I kind of forgot we even had some time up because you've back to back, go on the road game, day off, road game. It's just been crazy. But also too, I hope next season that this is fixed because this is disgusting to have a schedule like this to play 36 games in the midst of a FIBA season. And if you've paid attention, you start to see some injuries. I understand you try to get game, you want to get much network and TV time on there, but they're human. These ladies are human. And my fear is going down in the second half of the season, you're going to see things that are not going to be good for the league, especially when you have to think about minutes restriction. Like that was one thing we were with Alicia Clark, for example. She's not on a minutes restriction, but he made it clear in the pregame, that she's not on minute restriction. She came off a foot injury last season. Now, also too, he also is watching their minutes because of the amount of games in the first half of the season. So that's also something you take in consideration. But let's get into the pregame and postgame of the Washington Mystics versus the Atlanta Dream.
New York game, and so she's been the focal point of a scouting report, and so I think she's had to learn how to handle that. I think she's, had to fight. She had to fight through a couple weeks of, from the outside, it would appear to be, having to deal with that, whether it's frustration or just the reality of, you're trying to carry a team a little bit, and now every night. I know she had that in college, but it's different when you're playing, 3-4 times a week and everybody you play against is locked into how to play you with, high level defenders. I think she's done a good job in her composure and handling that.
Thank you. Coach, I'm doing a piece on Kia Vaughn.
Let's skip this piece.
What's it like to see?
Cap space we had to do.
How are you?
Nate, then?
Hey, Coach T. How are you?
Great.
A couple of questions for you, sir. After the Connecticut loss, you said you needed to go back at the tape and see what went right, what went wrong. What would you like to see emphasized in tonight's game against Atlanta?
Well, I don't know that it has a bearing on tonight's game, other than, I thought when I watched the tape, a lot of it was what I suspected, in that we missed, big opportunities offensively. I mean, how many, 5 foot or less shots did we have that we didn't make? If you make, 3 or 4 of those, or you make some free throws, the game doesn't probably go into overtime. Defensively, as much as we were struggling in the second half, it wasn't defensively. I mean, we were getting stop after stop after stop, and we couldn't score. In the fourth quarter, we had 9 field goal attempts and 9 turnovers. That's not a good ratio. And so, I mean, it's as simple as if you make a little bit quicker decision offensively, or you finish a layup around the rim, or you make an open three, that, you don't get those back. But it's just, I mean, that's the turnovers, I think, as much as anything, in the fourth quarter, just took away any opportunities we had to kind of stretch our lead.
And, this is the last game before the All-Star break. Is there anything that you see that you liked and that you would like to see improve going into the second half of the season?
Well, I think, I think we're making progress offensively. Obviously, we stomped all over that progress in the fourth quarter and the third quarter the other day in Connecticut. But in general, over the last couple of weeks, we've moved the ball well. Our shooting percentage has gone up. Our assists are going up when you make shots. There's been a better flow to what we're doing. I think our players have a better sense of, what each player does well as far as what we should get for that player in our offense. It certainly changes night to night when Elena's not there. And so, hopefully we can string together obviously we won, some games right before the Connecticut game where she played. And that's helpful. But we just, we're trying to come out of the break with a little bit refreshed bodies, a bounce to our offense, and, continue the way we've been playing defense, which has been mostly pretty good.
I appreciate you, sir. Good luck tonight.
Yep.
And we're gonna go in the post game. And before we do that, it happened, ladies and gentlemen. Elena Deladon, I was able to ask her a question. Let me play the clip. Oh.
All right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
We talked but before the game about going into the break on a high note, and outside of a slow start in that first quarter, before that first timeout, pretty complete game.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, hold on. Let me refresh the page. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
We talked but before the game about going into the break on a high note, and outside of a slow start in that first quarter, before that first timeout, pretty complete game.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, all of it was really good. The pace was good. Their pace was really good for the first 5 minutes, and
It was.
We missed some shots. I don't think we were very crisp offensively at the start, and that kind of led them. We had 3 quick turnovers, and that one of the good things is after those quick 3, we only had 6 the entire rest of the game. So when you take care of the ball, good things can happen. We got a lot of people involved in the offense. Obviously, Elena had one of her big time games, but I thought that, Maisha and Shatori in particular offensively gave us a great boost. And I thought Rui got us going at a really good tempo in those minutes she was in. Our bench was really good after, a slow start.
Closed out quarters really well tonight.
Yep.
Is that, how much do you guys actively talk about that? Because I know that was kind of thrown in the side earlier.
Yeah, I mean, some of that's, practice. Some of that's being better execution on offense. It helps when you get a stop, 2 or 3 quarters in a row when it's their last possession. But I think that, the last 2 minutes, and it helped us, in the fourth quarter, particularly staying out of foul trouble too. They beat us to the bonus the first couple quarters, and we did a better job in the second half of not allowing that to happen. They were going to the free throw line ahead of us at the start, and that hurt us. I think the other part of it is, defensively, they go 0 for 12 from 3 because we didn't have what we call short closeouts. We got all the way out to shooters tonight, and they had to take really tough contested threes, and I think that makes a big difference.
Is this the Elena? I mean, we've seen Elena. We know Elena is Elena, but nights like this, is this?
Yeah, I mean, and I think she would probably tell you that she, had a, okay game early, but once she got going, particularly second half, I mean, she just got a rhythm going, and they were trying different ways to guard her. But the other thing is that they played her, straight up sometimes and double sometimes, and she recognized how she was being played.
Jen?
Go ahead. That's fine.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kareem.
No,
Did you have
we're good.
another question?
We're good.
Jen?
Hey, Coach, sticking with the Elena theme for a second, obviously you've seen it all from her, but what's kind of your reaction when you see her just throw up that late heave that goes in?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's one of those players that can make that because no matter which way she gets it off, body turn, her finish with her follow through with her hand is always good no matter what. So she gives herself a chance to make one of those. Between her and Natasha making 2 long threes down the stretch, that kind of finished them off.
And how difficult, people like to say it's hard to beat a good team 3 times, but you've played these guys 4 times now. How hard is it to go 4-0 in this, and how, pleased are you to be in this position?
It's hard. I mean, all these games, it doesn't matter at the end of the season who you beat. You just got to have wins, and, beating a team that's been playing well, particularly as well as they've been playing the last couple of weeks, that's huge for us. It gives us confidence coming out of the All-Star break, but, they're a talented team. And, I thought, we stuck to our scouting report really well tonight.
And then last thing for me, just you mentioned Maisha and Shatori a little bit earlier, but for those two, struggling early in the year and then having this kind of game going into the All-Star break, do you feel like that gives them momentum? Are you pleased to see that? Like, can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
I hope it does. Between the two of them, I think they were 10 for 19 and made some, each made a 3. We need that from our bench. We need scoring off our bench right now. And, it's a tough decision because, I made the decision in the second half to play Elena and Maisha together more and not, the traditional post 5s that we have with Shakira and Elizabeth. And everybody has to understand that some night it's not your turn, it's somebody else's. And we felt like we had good offensive matchups when we played the way we did tonight. So when we can use our bench like that, that's really going to help us.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Wayne?
Hey, Coach, it seemed like every time Atlanta made a run, you guys answered right back. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that and the composure.
I mean, that's what we've been harping on for a while. As, we talked about before the game too. It's, it's one of those things where if you're going to be a great playoff team that, the teams are going to make runs, you have to be able to withstand it, get some key stops, but you got to go back at them the other way. I thought, some nights when we get in this situation, we walk the ball up after somebody scores on us and we make a mistake. Tonight, we kind of pushed it right back at them, made them have to scramble back defensively. And I think that's an advantage for us if we can not just play half-court offense every time now.
And lastly, Coach, just what were some of the positives that you liked from this game, especially bouncing back from the last one?
Well, I just think that, we got a lot of contributions from a lot of people. I mean, we had 5 players in double figures. The ball moved. We didn't have a high assist number tonight because we got a few more one-on-one plays because that's what the game gave us. They played us a little bit more one-on-one. They didn't double us as much. And so we had some individuals just go make some drives. I mean, Shatori got, some of hers just taking the ball to the basket. Same with Elena. But just the fact that, we had a good performance from our bench, that we had better tempo, that we survived a slow start, and that we had a fourth quarter where we, scored points. That's been a problem for us late in games, and we were able to score down the stretch.
Thank you, Coach. Safe travels.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yep.
So me play my question. So it was a little bit of because there were time for 2 questions, and I thought the person, his name's Christos, he's from Greece. Shout out to Christos. I thought he was going to go first, but she called my name. The PR communications person called my name first. I was like, oh, my fault. I wasn't paying attention.
We only have time for 2 more questions, so we'll do one to Nathan and one to Christos. Nathan?
Hey, ladies, great win tonight. Just one question. Now that we're going into All-Star break, what are some of the things that you guys are going to do mentally, physically online after playing the most games in the first half of the season?
I'm chilling. I'm like big chilling. I'm going over to LA earlier and just go to Six Flags. I'm big chilling. I'm big chilling.
Good for you.
Mentally prepared for the second half because I need to push against playoffs, make playoffs. So
I'm getting back to work. I'm actually excited I get this little bit of break to work on some things, get in the weight room, and continue on the path that I'm on with continuing to play more games, take care of my body, and get better.
Appreciate y'all. Safe travels.
really 2 different, 2 different.
Answer my question. Yo, I was starstruck. I didn't know what to think. I'm just sitting there I laid it out. I don't really ask my answer. She asked my question. I was starstruck. So, anywho, man, that's how you end the first half of this other season. Great win. Be on the lookout for the mid-season report cards as we get ready for the second half of the season. With the Washington Mystics, everyone's ready to go. Everybody's healthy. The depth looks great. We just stay offensively. We just stay consistent with our game offensively. I think the Mystics can definitely make a run. I think they can definitely make some noise in the second half of the season because we only got 12 games left. Because we've got the 17th. We got the Minnesota Lynx, against the Minnesota Lynx here in DC. Now we're attending that game. Then we got the Seattle Storm twice, which is weird, just like the Phoenix Mercury last month. So we got those 3 games, and then we got the Sparks first, Lynx, Seattle twice. I can't remember. I know we played Indiana on the last game of the season, home game. I can't remember the second home game in August. I think it's the 7th, and then it's the 14th of August. Those are our last games. But other than that, man, great first half of the season. It has been. Some of these games have been where Washington was disappointing, but I will say for the most part they stayed consistent. They really showed a lot of grit and grind. I'm really proud of these ladies. But the sky's the limit for them. So I'm hoping to see that momentum going in the second half of the season. Let's transition to day 1 of the WNBA All-Star Weekend.
I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. And I'm ticked off. It don't make any sense. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And something needs to be done about it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Okay, so the All-Star game, shout out to Nicholas Rosario and Delilah Crespo. It's in their home city of Chicago. Yesterday was the start of the All-Star weekend. We had the 3-point shooting contest and the skills challenge. A couple issues with that. It was supposed to come on at 3:00 on that network in Bristol, Connecticut called ESPN. And for a whole hour, for the first 15 minutes, they had a doubles match of tennis on. And I'm sitting here like, no, wait a minute. This is supposed to come on at 3. So luckily, shout out to Shawnee. Hooked the brother up with the link to watch it on ESPNU. So don't get me started with that one. Because if it's advertised, well, first and foremost, it wasn't even at the week, just days going into this yesterday. I looked on every sports network, every local network, wasn't even promoted. So that pissed me off. But the fact that I even I would go on the TV and see if it was on ESPN. It was not. The whole hour, it was just nothing but tennis. So that was issue number 1. Issue number 2 that I had. So I found out that there was journalists, those that are covering or got invite to be at the All-Star game, didn't get their credentials until the day before. I would think if you would leave for Chicago, me personally, let's just say I'm going to leave Wednesday night, right? I'm going to get there about Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I'm in Chicago, got the hotel, got everything. I would think by Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, I would have everything. The 3-point and shooting skills contests were not open to the public.
Bullshit.
However, I will be fair when I say this. So you had young women that are part of AAU basketball teams. They were there. So I like that you had a few of them participating with those that participated in the skills challenge. John Cole Jones, Sabrina Ionescu, Azare Stevens. Those are naming a few. I like that idea. Melissa Smith, so forth. I like that idea. Now, my issue is that you could have had tickets for fans, and you could have still had the AAU the ball players in there. You still could have made it interactive with the fans. Sabrina Ionescu won the skills challenge. Allie Quigley won the 3-point contest, which was no brainer. Shout out to her, congratulations, 4-time 3-point shooting champion. But other than that, it didn't feel like All-Star Weekend to me. Like where they had those 2 events, like a couple college basketball players. I'm not going to say their names. No, I'm going to keep them anonymous. But they said, "Is this the All-Star Weekend or is this a Nike national invite?" It was at one of those. It felt like it was one of those where it was at. It wasn't at a big arena. It was at like a gym, like a high school gym. To me, it gave me high school gym vibes. So that was an issue. You couldn't get into certain stuff. You had to have all that paid for. They had meet and greets that were not that long. It was like less than 20 minutes. Merch. If you wanted your favorite player, like for example Ryan Howard, didn't have that available. And also too, can we please stop selling shirts that like everyone just fits one size. Stop selling just mediums, please. They had Chance the Rapper there and Mulatto. Now, Kathy Engelberg stated that the reason why the Chance the Rapper concert was not open to the public because her fear of gun violence. First and foremost,
Bullshit.
that can happen at any festival. This fear stuff, I get it, but at the same time, that can happen at any festival. Okay? All you need to do is just beef up your security. That's not hard. There were people saying that it felt more like a networking event than an actual all-star event. There's not a lot of things for fans to do. They had like a little 3-point shooting contest outside the arena where it was hosted, where it was at. Like WNBA Live, like things like that. That's not, to me, that's not fun. The orange carpet thing, I've heard mixed. It was kind of mixed feelings for it. But it felt like to me, if you were part of the privileged media or you were invited, that's what it looked like to me. It didn't have a fan feel. And it just really bothered me that it's kind of making me wonder what today is. And on top of that, the All-Star Game is actually starting right now at 1:00.
I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. And I'm ticked off. It don't make any sense. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And something needs to be done about it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
I mean, there's a disconnect. Like, I would have really hoped to have seen more because I feel like the WNBA really missed the opportunity. Like, to me, sell the players, not just the merchandise. And it just feels like the players are doing that more than the W. Like they missed the W once again missed its opportunity. And I'm not just talking about Kathy Engelberg. I'm talking about the owners and her as a whole. They missed out on this because people spent hard-earned money, rooms, all that, and this is what we've been given. It's like being food served on a trash can lid. That's what it feels like to me. I mean, everything you can tell, it's last minute. She talked about it. I caught some of it with the media availability. They talked about playing this since the fall. Why is it Major League Baseball, NFL, hockey have all their dates ahead in a year? Like Major League Baseball has where they're going to have the All-Star Game next year. And I believe the NFL already has where they're going to host the Super Bowl. Sean Spencer, if you're in the comments, help me confirm that. The NHL already has where they're going to be located. A lot of this is poor planning, poor research. Like there's just a lot of things that they messed up on. You could just tell this was just bad. I mean, just here's some other stuff. WNBA. This is someone said this. We joked about WNBA lack of organization, a bunch of simple tasks like Fan Fest. They had supposed to end at 4, and a lot of people left early. Like that. That's not good for business. But I feel bad for those that went and had this kind of experience, because I would think when it's All-Star weekend, you get to you're involved, you get to do things, and yep, thank you. They know far in advance for the NFL. Thank you, and that's something that we once again let us down on. I mean, listen, I love the WNBA. I love these teams, these players, but it's really getting hard to defend this crap. It really, really is, because unfortunately, when stuff like this happens, you fuel the fire of those who already, one, don't watch the W and put out these narratives and see, you see why we can't grow? Because of stuff like this. Like, also, too, she talked about doubling down on player marketing agreements. And then next year, they're going to play 40 games. She said she's going to do a much better job of announcing the All-Star games next year. Also, too, she doubled down on charter flights. Not surprising. There is a lot of stuff she has to fix. But I said this before. We can't talk about expansion. She said, yeah, by 2025, no later than 2025, will there be 2 more expansion teams. But I've said this before. We cannot expand before we take care of these fundamental core issues. Better, something that's not chartered flights. Having something where these ladies can get from destination A to destination B without having to sit at an airport, whether it's LAX, whether it's Dulles, whether it's LaGuardia, for 3-4 hours because their flight delayed. Last year, you had 2 teams in the playoffs that took 3 separate flights because they didn't want to send the middle class. That shouldn't be happening. Number 1. Number 2, you've got to figure out how, 1, help market your players. You've got to do that. Like, these are core issues. Better pay, different things like that. These are issues before I started thinking about putting a team in Philly or Toronto, Oakland, cities like that. Because I'm telling you right now, we're going to pull the cart before the horse. We're going to pull the cart before the horse. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be egg on our face. It's going to be egg on their face. But at the end of the day, there's always room for improvement. Like, Kathy Engelberg is a very nice person. But we knew when she took this job, we knew it was going to be a shit show. Because a lot of the things she said, that the things that we've talked about before she came in, we knew this was going to happen. Like, for example, again, and I quote, "For the WNBA finals, we're going to provide charter flights to our players. In the spirit of finding other ways to compensate our players, we're planning to increase the postseason bonus by almost 50% to $500,000. You can do that for these players now. Why just the postseason? But other than that, I didn't like it. I mean, I had questions, and I just because a lot of people had questions for her, and unfortunately, again, she's a spokesperson. She speaks on behalf of all 12 owners, but there's a lot of inclusion, and to me, there's diversity, but it felt like it was only to certain athletes, and those that, to me, whether it's Nike, Adidas, or Jordan, that's what it felt like to me. But also, too, those that cover the media and they know who the WNBA, that they know who they are. There's a lot of issues that they're just don't want to ask. They don't want to really take the forefront and say, why is it like this? Like, why would I have an event that's closed off to the public? That makes no sense, number one. And you can tell everything looks rushed. But also, too, this grow the game advertisement is bullshit. It truly is, because these events were great. I mean, the fact we had high school players there, I liked that. But I mean, for those that, again, paid hard-earned money to go to Chicago and be a part of an event, and then they go, oh, they can't get it. I can't get in this. That's a waste of money. And all that, I could have stayed home. And look, at some point, and I know, and there was somebody on Twitter that said, well, if you read the fine print when you bought the tickets, blah, 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 blah. This is not a you get what you paid for. No, if I'm spending my hard-earned money, then you damn sure I'm going to make sure every penny is worth of it. Not to just be pop a shot or going to find, I don't have my favorite, that you don't have my favorite basketball player's jersey in your merchandise store, or having shoes I can't afford, which is, that's one subject for another video. But it's the fact that you have the independent media like myself and others that hold the W more accountable than the mainstream media. That's the issue. But whether you like it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I want to continue to support the league. I understand that the league has moments like this, and it will get better. But the issue that I have is that we've got to start holding somebody accountable, whether it's Kathy Engelberg, but more importantly, it's these owners. It's these owners. We got to start holding them accountable, because it's really interesting to just really see. I like to know where all different 12 groups stand currently. But other than that, I mean, the All-Star game is starting at 1 o'clock. That should piss you off right there. Wow. Sunday, 1 o'clock, the All-Star. I would think the All-Star game comes on at 4, 5, or 6. Because the NBA All-Star game, they come on around 6 or 7, 8 o'clock. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's packed. Whether they're playing, but with the Sky play, I'm pretty sure it's packed. But come on now. But also, too, All-Star break is almost over, because I think Tuesday, the games start right back up. Go figure. So, but honestly, if I was to grade it, I'm gonna give it a C+. I am, and that's being honest. So, but with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, be tuned in for future episodes. I'm disgusted. I just can't believe that. Because I mean, it's a lot of great talent, and this league deserves a lot more than what it's getting. I mean, you've got to advertise your players better. Accessibility to the games has to be better. Like, this league pass is great, but half the games I can't watch it because it's either on ESPN or it's blacked out. And on top of that, too, this is my last thing, and I'm gonna end the episode. I noticed on social media that we have certain individuals that feel they're head above shoulders of who should cover them, who should not cover them. First and foremost, I have been very clear on this, and I'm not going anywhere from this argument. These athletes today, they are sensitive. You can't say anything without them getting on social media and saying and being so quick to jump on social media. I have been fair. I have been very clear on this, and I'm going to be clear on this one more time. And I'm going to keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. As part of an independent media, I have the right to criticize you on the court. Off the court, that's not me. And between those lines, I'm gonna call it like I see it. If you're playing great, I'm gonna give you the praise and I'm gonna give you the glory. If you're playing subpar or mediocre, I'm gonna let you know that. That's how this works. This saying always is nice stuff to each other, nice things. That's not how this works. Because you get paid, you get paid for a reason, because you're talented. You have bad games, yes, you're entitled to that. But if we got people in the media that are independent and they have said you need to be a part of this event or that, and you need to get more recognition, but you're blindly attacking those that support you, that's an issue. Just say who you want then who do you want to be covered by? Because it feels like there's this only a certain type of people in the media can cover me. And that's not how this works. That's just not. It's not. But whether you like it or not, I'm gonna give you the praise. I'm also criticize you. And if you don't like it, 3 words: kiss my ass. Plain and simple. But with that being said, that's going to conclude the episode. Be tuned in. I got another video coming out soon. I'm going to give the mid-season report cards for each of the 12 teams for the first half and what they need to improve on the second half. Also, too, you can check me out on the Keeping It 9450 Women's Basketball Network. Shout out to Daniel Artis and K-Dot, Kevin Lewis. Shout out to those guys. But until then, I'm going to catch this All-Star game, but I will catch you guys on the flip side.
Because, you know, it is what it is. It's so great to be great.
Listen, I'm easy to find.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.
And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.